Hello everybody. I drove my Jaguar XJS V12 in what was close to 40-degree heat recently, and it very nearly overheated. Let's talk about it. So we've had a bit of a heat wave in the UK recently, and I thought I'd take this opportunity to kind of put the car through its paces in very hot weather, basically to see what works well and where the issues might be. I tested the air conditioning performance in another video, which I'll link below. That seemed to work fine, but yeah, the issue I encountered when I'm driving down the motorway in high 30s touching 40 degrees C concerned the engine cooling, and particularly my electric fans. So here's the cooling strategy I use in my car, and I've currently got the ignition on, and the fans, the electric fans here, are effectively in a permanent low speed state when I'm sort of, driving along normally, just to keep the temperatures in check and to basically mimic the actions of the viscous fan at idle and things, and continually pull air through the condenser for the air conditioning. So they're in this permanent low state, and then when the temperature of the outlet hose from the radiator into the engine block reaches 90 degrees centigrade, these fans turn on to a full speed setting, pull the temperature down, and then they switch back off at 87 degrees. And I control all of that happening via this simple temperature controller here that's set at 87 degrees with a 3-degree hysteresis. So this is the current temperature of the outlet hose. When this gets to 90 degrees, the fans turn on full speed, and then when it gets back down to 87 degrees, they turn off. Very simple, and up till now has worked perfectly. I did a separate video on the cooling strategy I've got in this car, which I shall link below. But anyway, on to the problem. So while driving down the motorway in 40-degree heat, the fans actually came on full speed, i.e. the coolant flow got to above 90 degrees, and it would not go any lower. This was cruising, at 70 odd miles an hour. So I essentially lost control of the cooling system. The radiator fans were on full just down there. I was travelling at 70 miles an hour, and the coolant gauge in the car was not dropping to 87 degrees. There literally was not enough cooling coming through the car due to the hot weather to drop the temperature, and thus the cooling system, or feedback loop if you like, was completely out of control. Not good. And of course this caused me to panic quite a lot, because we were travelling on the motorway. The radiator fans were permanently on according to the temperature control over there. So when we slowed down in traffic or came off the motorway, my fear was that we'd effectively have runaway heating of the engine. The fans would stay on max, but we're no longer on the motorway, so the cooling's less, and I'd have absolutely no way to stop the engine from overheating. One of my concerns was with these fans themselves. They are really not designed to be kind of kept on at 100% speed like that. In the X-Type, they have a fan controller attached, like a PWM style controller, and they kind of ramp up and down with speed, and I only usually have them operating intermittently, so having them on permanently like they were could lead to early failure. Thankfully it was okay in the end. The temperature on the gauge, for what it's worth, kind of peaked at the low N sort of place, kind of there. I have 82-degree thermostats in this car, so it usually sits kind of here somewhere. But in the end it didn't overheat, but now I've got the dilemma of whether I do something about this, because I would like to take this car on road trips through France and Spain, etc., and likely through temperatures similar to what we've seen in the UK recently. So kind of acknowledging that this is a self-imposed problem, if you like, I'm the one that set the temperature controller to come on at 90 degrees. I could just increase this by 3 to 5 degrees or so, have it come on at, say, 95 degrees and then off at 92. That would give a greater temperature delta between the air coming through the car and the coolant temperature. So obviously that would mean it would get rid of more heat, and that would probably work more effectively at ambient temperatures in the late 30s or so. But the reason I set it where I did was because I like having lots of buffer, heat buffer in the system, if you like. I mean, I know coolant can go to 110 degrees or so because it's pressurized and all that good stuff, but this car is prone to getting damaged by an overheating engine, so I didn't really want to do that. But yeah, that's one thing I could look at, maybe just adjusting the temperature control strategy. So it's obviously quite marginal, this potential problem I have. I mean, one thing I could look at is extending the ducting here on the radiator cooling shroud for the fan. So this plastic here, you can see between the edge of it and the edge of the radiator, there's maybe 5 centimeters of fins there not covered by the fan, i.e. not subject to the low air pressure behind the fan when it's running, like you get in there. So maybe I could look at cutting the edge of this and putting some additional ductwork in to ensure more of the radiator is subject to the fan. Along the same lines as improving ducting, I could look to block up all the small gaps around the radiator, you know, down the sides there, and I think you can probably see some from the front. Little gaps there where the airflow could get through. But one thing to bear in mind is the engine does draw its air from within the engine bay rather than a cold feed like the later cars had on top, so perhaps that's not the best idea. I did have a thought about the fans themselves that I'm using effectively not being powerful enough, and whether I should look at getting some more powerful ones. These are from a Jaguar X type, and you can see the Jaguar logo there. I think they're very good. You know, the motors are fairly sizable and they definitely pull a lot of current, and you know, they have proper shroud pieces, you know, around the top, so they have a good static pressure. They create a good static pressure through the radiator core. But yeah, perhaps they're not quite enough, and I need to look into something slightly larger. So one potential option I could do is look to water down my coolant further. So I currently run this Fuchs type antifreeze at a 50-50 mix, mainly for corrosion protection within the engine itself. But there's no need to do that from a frost protection perspective. I could increase the concentration of the water to antifreeze mix, lower the antifreeze concentration, and of course water has a greater cooling capacity than just antifreeze, so maybe that small marginal change in doing that would be enough. Maybe that's something I might investigate over the summer, although it does mean draining the coolant system, which is a right pain. Turning attention to the engine now, I could try something like this, a citric acid flush. So this is citric acid powder, and you can mix it up to basically create a very strong acid. And this is actually a procedure I think is recommended by Mercedes for their classic models, but you basically drain the coolant, fill it up with this, run it for, I don't know, 20 minutes or so, get its temperature, quickly drain it out, neutralise it, and the idea is it does basically a cleanse of the internal passageways in the engine, you know, dissolves crud and things that are in there. Now this is quite clean in here, you know, I've flushed it lots of times. I'll put a link below to some of my flushing videos in the previous time I changed the coolant. I mean, there's no big chunks in there, it's fairly clean all things considered, but you never know, there might be some bits of detritus lurking in there somewhere that could potentially impact the heat transfer overall of the system. I mean, bear in mind this is quite a marginal problem I've got. Maybe that would be the answer, doing something like that. So some possible solutions there to this problem that may not even be a real problem and just an issue I've made for myself. But what do you all think? I mean, if I do nothing, I don't think I'm really at risk of a proper overheat. You know, after all, a pressurised cooling system can go up to 110 degrees centigrade, you know, maybe higher before boiling. But I do like the safety margin of running it lower all the time. I think it's, you know, much better for longevity and reliability. Maybe I should start monitoring the outlet temperatures from the block either side to get a true engine temperature reading. But yeah, interested in what everybody thinks, particularly anyone listening who drives in Australia or southern USA or southern Europe regularly in these sort of temperatures, you know, 35 to 40 degrees C or maybe higher. How does your car behave? I'd be very interested to hear it. But anyway, thanks for watching, and cheerio.